That's good. Make sure the volume's up. Microphone volumes. All right, so everything's on, it seems like. Sometimes so if you're at home and then you don't hear, if you don't hear the volume, you have to contact me somehow. So I'll send out my cell phone number, I guess, or something like that. I could write it down here. Actually, I did it for the other class and this thing didn't work. So see if this guy's gonna work. Let's see, dot camera project. Oh, that could work. I tried to get a nicer room, like one of the rec center rooms, but they. All right, so. If you're at home, so anyway, you can click this as some video. It's like a movie. It's really There's like a movie about some college kids in Africa. You don't have to look at the whole thing. There's a bunch of videos. So you can look at how this stuff is made. Yeah, or you could just go through it. Much benefit of it's something like this guy was talking about the state of the world. This guy, I feel, I'm talking about the state of the world, and it's a different perspective. Like, so you ask people, like, what's the state of the world? There's wars out there, environments that have been destroyed, they're going to each other, et cetera, et cetera. His perspective, not the past world, not the future world, but like the right now world. Like what happened, the state of the world is what you're doing. Not just the all right, define again financial crime, so It's like third world, you know, they get like five different impressions. So like, the world is really terrible. Now, and basically, that's one issue. The other issue, like China, so I thought that was my important topic going up in this. Kind of about Africa. The product and then they grow and like 250 people. Anyway, that's basically look at um, so anyway, if you listen to this Buddhist guy with the and yeah, basically go to now you can go to I think they have to water the maybe right. If you could check, no, you just kind of master it. It's not. It goes right down. There's a lot when the time they get the fit down at the end, which would take place, like South Africa, so anyway, it's kind of funny that the what they take in that video in 10 years. So, but it's kind of like something like how bad it is, not like how place where they took a whole town and turned it into museums. Basically, I guess the man probably cheap. But it is that's the kind of thing that they did. The one thing is for sure. Yeah, yeah. About, and the other time is so you can you figure out somehow like kind of go on. Like, well, yeah, speaking of information and stuff, is there anything more to it? And it's like, a lot of you are already doing that. You have to basically, part of the idea is you have to take I think conceptually it's something good. Kind of gets through like different things like that, like different technologies, places really good jobs doing things like the vertical farming industry is a place in town. So we do some tours. Like we've done last year we did tours. And we did a couple other tours of like generally like the 50 there. I call it like people. And then we like if you want to go or do something, anything at all, moment, basically, in the past, we find the guy that does solar peppers in town. It's like a startup company. And he's got kind of a startup place where he it's in north side. Not far from here. The other place I don't know. It's got plastic tanks. So there's two ways to do it. One is like absolute orange. The other is like technology. I think both the action, either one's are like I'm not how much we can the biggest point is memory cut down. The totals are good now. The cost of the technology. So it's probably looks like it would so what's that like? Trip run by a company. But it wasn't. Yeah, the bills come in. Same. So we're in charge now. And we feel and they killed the Japanese. Then they killed the emperor. They had an emperor before. And that's where that was actually worse than the Japanese. These guys were this, like lower level. So they just then afterwards, they over the country. They killed like the second largest economy in Africa. They just all used to people out of you know. And he's the guy that kind of was the whole thing is still alive in the Bible, but still living. Like the other day, like somebody It's in the newspaper. There's like shopping and all. Anyway, so anyway, there was a period of time after when the PLF took over, things were kind of calm, but they were pretty useful. And then people got sick of the Grahams and the copy on that took over, and he was like the great kind of enforcement. But then the PLF took Grahams and had him make and they had a so basically in Ethiopia every 10 to 15 years they have a war where something like 400 people. Basically for the past 100 years. So once the generation comes and they have to have a war, and the first thing they do is go have a war. People can have shoes, so it doesn't make any sense. There isn't any rich people. Not nobody has in the world. It's just a kind of sad situation. Oh, that's why we're not going to Ethiopia. It's kind of like a no body. Anyway, so what's that business? So basically, you can explain. So, yeah, so what I'm going to do is go through a little bit of like African where it fits in with top out, full of power. Basically starting with a ground type of things have changed a lot. Like you guys probably have somebody have solar at home. Somebody have a solar. So anyway, the tax breaks now, a lot more people. So it makes sense. So they're set. I'll make a weird thing with that. Kind of like it's weird to probably people that can afford their own account. They have extra people. It's kind of like there are a lot of people like the graphic. And then that part of the movie isn't significant. But I'll flip it. How like an independent system but these kind of things important part of it makes a lot of sense there. And then kind of how solar cell works, just like some science kind of get that, and then how do you go from a solar cell to a solar panel, and then batteries, and then it's about batteries. Just a little bit about batteries. I usually have a guide batteries. I usually have company. Like that. It's kind of a topical, but it's not usually quite good. Ideal to where they work, the thought that I don't have try to figure things out. Hey, hopefully, if people don't show up, you just don't show up. 6 p.m. from the public. If you get 50, you get not that. So, not, no, no, yeah, not here, yeah. Like, and it generally, like, I try to go like an hour. Because it's not. But I never. Actually, what? Yeah, one people. Yeah, people that don't show up. It's only it's not average out. The one that you get. Unless it's all 50s. And it's a I don't know, we can do it other stuff. Like when it did thermal, I used to teach thermal undergrad, and it was like. Yeah, we could, I put it, started off with whole panel, like, it's never so, and that's in the rest. And then before, if it close on all the that's it. If it's so open, that place definitely going to shoot. Like it's pretty crazy. They have scaffolding. There's about 10 stories or something. And that side, it's all like, of the court. You get on the top and the real estate. You're going okay, just really scary for me, but I do think it's so, you know, yeah, they're pretty, it's like, when someone signed in, signed in, like, anyway, maybe, but generally, I don't think it's. so anyway, so this, I think this is kind of interesting. This is kind of anyway, it's just like where the government is corrupt, and this thing is from, I think it's from like 2010 or something. So, but basically, uh, we aren't that good, but Canada's better. Darker green is better. The black is better. That's the model. Anyway, so you want to look for corruption. Uh, Central Africa's number one place. And they're ranking Venezuela, Mexico. So these are kind of the places, I guess. All right. You look at corruptions too, right? Like if you go to the place with a dictatorship and if people's hands off, they steal something, it's really safe to be a tourist. Because like no one's been stealing from you. So corruption between all of the two ways. Like from our perspective, from the Western US perspective, going to a corrupt country can be actually safer than going to a democracy. Right? It's pretty weird. Like because after Ethiopia democratized, then it became like unsafe because people like and the people are like not corruption. It's not necessarily. It depends on your perspective. It's the same with like women, like really nice. If you're a woman, because I'm generally women I agree with that. Yeah, it's like, wow. Well, it's totally different perspective, but I always thought that they were so friendly and they're getting happy. They're like, no, it depends on your view of other places. You know? But a lot of it is like, it's from where you're coming from and like who you are and how you're identified by the other people there. It's a big difference on what the place is. So a lot of the huge you hear about Africa, for instance, that I mean, it's going to be different than about. All right, so basically, this kind of shows what kind of problem is. The governments, and just had an election, right? And it was kind of a rigged election in terms of like most of the people in there. So there's a young guy running against a real old guy. Right? So the young guy was like kicking that guy. Anyway, he lost at a small amount. The old guy was like not worked in. He's completely won that. So basically, democracy kind of manipulated. And then Niger just had so Niger's just above Nigeria. It's kind of big country. It's all desert. So Nigeria is 200 million people, I think. And then Niger's 3 million. This country above it. And then Chad, this is Chad. So I think this is Senegal over here. So anyway, and then Burkina Faso is like this little country. So there's a line of like Chad, Burkina Faso, and Niger just had a coup, a military coup. They had 2 elections, and the military just took over. So anyway, so the military, I wanted to find the speech by the big military general that took over because he was saying like, he had a pretty good argument. He went to a meeting in Russia, like one of the countries that want to go to Russia. He's talking about how the French colonial power is still controlling Nigeria. With all their provinces basically centered on the French. But it's the guy that just deposed the democratically elected president of the country. Right? And so it's confusing, like who's right and who's wrong and who's. But I'm curious, when people give these military guys and from the democratically elected president, the Nigeria actually left the reason why Nigeria is doing that. First, like 200 million versus 3 million, it should be pretty easy for them to do it. And secondly, the guy with the car in Nigeria who was supposedly democratically elected actually stole the election, was going to beef up the base. Person who started the war, and like all of a sudden, I think some like that in the I couldn't find anyone from that. Maybe it's because it's like 3 million. But a lot of the people in Nigeria like these they migrate from there to Libya and they go across the Mediterranean. So basically, they're in bad shape there. So probably for the good of farming, Libya is about militias, Gaddafi, U.S. So, anyway, so there's a lot of things going on in Africa right now. A lot of kind of interesting dynamics. And if you read the papers, the opinions are different. Like you can't really trust what people say. Everyone seems to have a vested interest. It's pretty hard to tell without talking to people from the place like that what really is going on. And then, like central, like the Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, so anyway, that said, the people are pretty happy when we visit there. I mean, they have, you know, everyone seems to have the same kind of interest that they should have their kids, but so basically, there's a lot of similarities with the new situation. In fact, a lot of times it seems like your grandparents lived on a farm, you know, and had chickens or something, raised corn, and then like your grandparents and have achieved some of their pockets. So if you go back to generations, then the people are the same as the people on it's pretty like kind of fundamental to the cultural side. So and then want to go to the city. And the situation is kind of similar. It's hard to the situation. But it isn't very much concern. In a sense, like if you would think like your great grandparents have come to the and stuff like, we're going to drop food in an airplane. What you get that food? You're going on flights or drop food. They just push them out of the back of the airplane. And then like flies out and smashes and people get off. They fail and maybe ended up with thing. It's actually like so anyway, so basically think like someone dropping food into your great grandparents' farm, you know, kind of airplanes, people like your family think about that. What's going on is like I mean the whole situation could be flipped. It could be awful. There's no reason to go here. Probably look at it like that. So the people have the same interest. you need a charge right. Um. Anyway, so anyhow, let's start a little bit. Um, with, um, anyway, so yeah, from that project, these are just showing like where we kind of worked, you know. So Johannesburg, oh Botswana, Johannesburg, Cape Town, Dar es Salaam, and Addis, and then a bunch of places in Ethiopia, and also place here. Basically, this is all at East Africa. I mean, this is the Cape, and this is East Africa, in the Horn of Africa. So actually, Africa is in their part. East Africa is like Tanzania, Kenya, so it's kind of like Safari, Serengeti, then like Zanzibar. So Oman is this country. So in the 1800s, the Sultan of Oman, came down the coast and picked up slaves. So it's like a slave trade, big slave trade, the slave port along the coast. Then like Swahili, it's like a pidgin version of Arabic. So basically, the largest language in Africa is Swahili, which is just like kind of pidgin Arabic thing. It came from Oman, basically, this country, which is still a nice place to visit. Like Oman has, they have these vacation packages where you can go out on camels into the desert, and like it's supposed to be pretty nice. And there's really nice beaches there. But next to Oman is Yemen, which is like at war. It's kind of weird. This really nice vacation location next to this terrible place. Saudi Arabia is up here. Right? So anyway, so that the whole coast, the Central Africa and the coastal Africa are like different places. Like you have Swahili, then you have this kind of Arabic influenced culture along the coast, and in the center is like it's a different group of people, you know, totally different, and they're going to have their individual languages. So they're a lot more linked in central Tanzania and Kenya. They're a lot more linked to like Nigeria than they are to the coast, even though it's closer to the coast. So anyway, there's a lot. So you can see like there's a lot of different things going on because of the lay of the land, basically. And this Sahara Desert is like this big region here, this dry. So the North Africa is basically Arab, and Sub-Saharan is basically black. Right. So the two places are different. So it's like there's a thing called truesize.com. There's a link on it, so you can, because of the way the Earth is curved, if you put it flat, things away from the equator, things on the equator shrink, and things away from like Greenland looks huge. But Greenland is actually not that big, right? So Greenland's so anyway, if you take Africa and you put on a fair trading thing so that the space actually works, it's actually huge, right? Like the US is a small fraction of Africa, right? So you can imagine it's like 4,000 miles, and it's kind of like 6,000 miles. So it's a huge distances. Like going from Lagos, Nigeria to Cape Town is something like a 3,000 mile trip. You know, going from Ethiopia to Cape Town is like 4,000 miles. So it's like 2,500 in California or something. So it's really far. So anyway, so if you take Africa, you can fit in Europe, all of Europe. You can fit in all the US, fit in all of China, India, Great Britain, Japan, right? You can fit basically almost the entire world into Africa if you want. They're using this true size thing. It's kind of, anyway, just to say, when they say like Africa's referring to it as a country, is kind of like ridiculous, you know, because a lot of different countries and the people. The other thing is that so the countries go back to their root colonial powers. So like it's easier to get a flight from London to Cape Town than it is to get a flight from like Addis Ababa to Cape Town, right? Or even from like Angola to Cape Town. Like if you went from Angola to Cape Town, you'd probably go to Portugal to London to Cape Town. Really. So it's like that would be your cheap flight option because they still go back, but Nigeria is also British. So and then all these countries are French. It's going to be like Paris or London, right? So and they don't talk to each other. They don't, and then also each place has a separate language and a completely different culture too. So I mean, there's no like one Africa thing, even though people talk about Pan Africa, and there's a movement to say like we're all one thing, including the Caribbean, US, right, and the US black population. But in reality, someone like say a slave from the Congo in the US, like they were a slave and they came to the US, like if they go back to Ethiopia, those people have like nothing to do with them. Like they're totally different people. But all right, they do accept, so they do accept and say like you're one of us, you know. But in reality, like the culture is so different that they have a lot more in common with the Europeans that they associate with than with the other African countries. Yeah, so the whole thing is pretty weird. And on top of that, like if you take a place like Ethiopia, it's like small differences to us end up being big differences with them. So the tribal regions of Ethiopia, the people like hate each other. Like they don't think each other like the other people are human, literally. You know, so it's almost like racism, like the worst kind of racism we have, they have against each other, like kind of tribals regions in the same country, you know. So it's really pretty strange. And if you go into that situation, try to help them, it can lead to some pretty weird things going on. You know? Like you say, like I want to go help these people. We're going to do it at a university that's got a mixed population of students from all over the country. And mostly Oromo, like one region that's kind of better off than the others in a sense. No one's better off, but basically they seem to be better off. And they'll say like, why are you doing this? Like there's no like altruism to it. So that's one of the things about the state of the world. And the Buddhist guy saying like, well, you should take like this moment and what you're doing right now to help people. But if you go to look at the people that you're trying to help, they aren't of that. It's not necessary that they're of the same attitude that you are coming in saying, I'm being altruistic, I'm doing this thing to help you. It's for them, like they don't have some people they don't have that concept. They don't, their only concept is to survive, you know. It's going to be a lot different than, and you're trying to impose on them altruism just comes off as being you're trying to steal something, because that's the only thing they know. Like they don't know altruism like that. Like they don't know that you're going to help somebody could help you. So it puts you in a weird situation. Think about this. Um, anyway, so yeah, it's poor in Africa. It's the poorest place in the world by far. You know, so it's like no comparison. I mean, these are maps of like poverty, uh, just like where poverty is in the world. So, exponential growth everywhere. So the U.S. because the root of this is women. You know, so if you can bring women into the workforce, individuals. Basically, school, especially in the rural sectors, you know, that's just he's 12 years old. You know? Anyway, so we can justify it. Basically, that's the problem. Problem. But even as it is, even if you could alleviate the population growth, it's exponential. Nothing we can do about the growth of the population in Africa. And what it means is that the reality of that means the center of the gravity of the world. Like the projections for population. So India, that's going to be DRC, 2050 population 30 million, but if you look at 2100, Lagos is going to be 100 million people, 88, 90 million people in one city. So the population of Ethiopia now is 115 million. So basically the entire population of Ethiopia in one city, right? So Kinshasa, I think now it's like 30 million. So it's going to be like in 110. So you have these gigantic mega cities. Like Dar es Salaam, right? They were just just putting in like a bus transport system, like dedicated lanes. That was a big deal. And it's like run down. It's like the coastline is really big. 70 million. It's like huge. Like New York. See, there's no city in the United States, right? It's about like 2100. Like everything's moving. Right? So one thing is like this is going to be like something you can't imagine, like a place like that. Like there's so many people in our place. So cultural different things, music. I mean, I don't know. Even now, these places are already like out. Like Lagos is a movie center and there's a lot that comes out of it beyond just like the problems, with it. So basically, I think a lot of the culture is going to shift that way. So it's good to think about, and also the market. The market, whatever you produce, this is where you have to ship, and you have to actually develop an economy there so they can buy this stuff. So you have to be kind of thinking about things in that way. But anyway, this is the simple 350. But this is like the wealth of the world, like the basically the population here is going to be growing like crazy. They have no money, right? So all the money is like in the world. So somehow it should be the best way to get it. If you have maximum markets for the United States. Even now, we're at the point where China transformed in ways that they have wealth. Basically, if you can have the wealth distributed, it's better for everybody because it's going to be markets where we produce and we can produce it evens. Of it now. And then energy consumption goes in money. If you have money, you can consume energy. I mean, this is just part, right? There's no light. So this thing is like using so this is going up, even though development is happening, but because the population is exponentially growing, like we still have an increase in the population that's burning stuff, burning wood to heat and everything. So kind of like the more development and kind of the population is bigger group of people that have the electricity set. The tide is growing. You actually have a mission. So the whole thing, it's pretty complicated, like how you go about trying to help things. In the end, the helping comes down to just recognizing that you can understand that people exist. I think that's the biggest problem with people. Because anything you do is kind of bound to failure. I think. But then try to look at it and usually basically, what does work is some of the anyway, so this just showing that the pie is growing. So yeah, you can reduce the number from 110 to 108. You can increase the populations of the 544. It's just the pie is growing over time exponentially. I think it's in the US. And then basically that gets to be a problem too. Anyway, yeah, why don't we take a second and I'll pick up on that.
Yeah, we should get him this right. He's got it. He was bought all the bread. Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, so like when you sign up with the board, it shows you like how long you pay.